Hi, and welcome back. If you are doing nervous system healing work, therapy, somatic work, trauma healing, and you feel more emotional, more sensitive, or like your life is actually getting harder instead of easier, I want you to pause because you are in the right place. What you might be experiencing is not regression, it's likely a sign of healing. And this is the part no one really prepares us for. So today I'm going to talk about 6 signs that your nervous system is healing. Signs that don't feel like healing at all, might not feel good, and why so many people quit right before things actually begin to change. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amy Rose White. I'm an integrative psychotherapist and astrologer. I've been doing that for a couple decades. And on this channel, I make videos about psychospiritual self-healing. If you want my free 5-minute nervous system reset, please see the link in the description below. Okay, let's get started. So sign 1, you feel more, not less. One of the biggest signs of nervous system healing is that we start to actually notice more sensations, more emotions, more awareness in general in our body and of our body. And for many people, that includes more pain physically, at least temporarily. If you've spent years disassociated, numbed, or disconnected, nervous system healing is the opposite of that. You're coming back online. So you might suddenly feel like you're crying more often than normal. You're more irritable or angry, or you feel raw, tender, or on edge. It's very common for people to think they're getting worse during this phase, but this is actually one of the most common moments when people quit therapy or whatever, healing work they're doing right before the nervous system acclimates to this new level of inner contact. Because healing is not about bypassing emotion, it's about finally letting the full story be felt and expressed, both emotionally and physically. Number 2 is you become less tolerant of unsatisfying environments. So as your nervous system heals, your tolerance for environments that drain you drops dramatically. You may suddenly feel unable to stay in social situations that don't feel great or just make you tired. Less able to push through work that feels misaligned, or be around people who require self-betrayal. To others, this can look like you're withdrawing, or you've changed, or you're not as fun anymore. But what is actually happening is that you are becoming less willing to override your body's signals, and you're no longer abandoning yourself just to keep the peace. That is not dysfunction, that's discernment, and it is a primary aspect of what happens when we're doing deeper healing work. Number 3, we crave solitude, and it feels different. So another sign of nervous system healing is a genuine craving for solitude. Not isolation or shutdown, but time alone that actually feels nourishing, like tolerating your body and space and enjoying your own company. Because when the nervous system is dysregulated, stillness can really feel terrifying. And we distract or stay busy all the time. We stay stimulated, we're scrolling. But as healing happens, stillness becomes more tolerable and even finally restorative. This can worry people around us. They may think we're pulling away or cutting people out. But very often, what's happening is actually really simple. Being alone now feels better than being drained. And that's a very important shift. Number 4, your body needs more sleep and shows more symptoms. So during nervous system healing, it's common to need more sleep and rest in general, more downtime, and you might even notice physical symptoms like heat or cold waves, trembling or shaking, changes in appetite, hormonal shifts or cycle changes even, and that's because your body is processing stored stress and unprocessed emotion. When you allow emotion to move through writing, using our voice, shaking, crying, or trauma release practices, it affects our muscles, our hormones, our entire endocrine system, because our nervous system is all connected to that. And that includes our digestion and our immune system. So our body is reorganizing, and that takes energy, which we can feel really tired around and have other symptoms show up. Number 5 is you surprise yourself with new reactions. So as your body is healing, your psyche is healing, you may start responding in ways that feel out of character. So let me give you a quick example from my own life. I was raised in an environment where anger, especially towards men, was just not tolerated or safe. So I learned to freeze, appease, or collapse my own anger response. And years later, while I was working through my own repressed anger and trauma around that topic, I had an experience skiing where a man aggressively tried to knock me down a mountain. And because he was mad about something I said, and without thinking, I reacted with a really clear fight response. And I actually like lifted up my ski pole and like kind of poked him in the back as he was skiing away from me. And that moment really shocked me and scared me. It did not feel like me. But what was happening was not a loss of control. It was mobilization out of that freeze response that was chronic for me. So for the first time, my nervous system knew how to protect itself. Healing does not always mean you're going to respond perfectly. It's not something I would love to be doing all the time. But it does mean we'll respond more honestly and then integrate. So this is related to sign number 6, which is the pendulum swings and then finds balance. When you spent your life being the nice one, the people pleaser, the over functioner, the over accommodator, healing can initially swing you in the opposite direction. So you may start to say things more bluntly, set boundaries clumsily, be more aggressive initially than maybe is needed, or feel unsure of who you're becoming. And this can be really unsettling both for you and for others. But here's the part people don't tell you. The pendulum does settle with awareness, practice, and a ton of self-compassion, which is what I had to find for myself. We find a middle ground where we can stay connected to our breath, our voice, our truth, feel grounded, and our values all at once. And that's regulation. But it's just on the other side of the healing journey. One final bonus point I want to make is as your nervous system heals, clarity arrives. And sometimes that clarity requires big change. Relationships may no longer work. Jobs may feel intolerable. Certain environments may just feel wrong, like the bar that you've been going to every Friday night. And this can kind of look like you're blowing up your life. But what actually is happening is realignment, because you're no longer organizing your life around survival. You're organizing it around your truth. And that's what healing really is. If you found this information useful, please like, share, subscribe, and hype the video, and take a look at my trauma healing playlist right here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.